It's like the whole book, Adam Silvera is like taking a knife, planting it in your chest, and then starts twisting for 400 pages. Hi, did you see me crying in the thumbnail? Yeah, I took that picture right after I finished this book, and that was literally my state. And that is The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Wait, should I throw the book? Just wait. Yep, my mental health needed to do that. So essentially, this is a prequel to another book called They Both Die at the End. And it's a big thing on TikTok. And it turned into a really big thing. And it's a new concept, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But due to the success of the first book, they were like, pretty cool, babe. And I read it because I really liked the first book, but oh no. So in the first book, which is They Both Die at the End, we follow mainly two characters, Rufus and Mateo. And in this universe, there's this thing, it's a company called Deathcast. And basically their job is they call you and they'd be like, hey, within 24 hours from right now, you're gonna die. And you're like, oh, cool. Not in the first book, nor in the second book. We never find out how they do it or where they get this information. But the only thing we know is that it's 100% correct, and whoever they call is going to die. We follow Rufus and Mateo as they first receive their calls, and both of them are 17. Yeah, it's fucking sad. So we basically follow them this whole day, trying to like live it as fully as possible. And I'm not really going to go in depth for that book because it's not, I don't think it hits the same. Because when I read that, I was sad, but I was also shocked because the death just happened very like out of the blue, and you're like, and you don't really get to mourn them. You're just like, what the fuck just happened? And I didn't cry all that much with the first one, so I picked this one up and I was like, got it. But oh my god, this one was worse. I mean, in a good way, but also in a bad way, because now I have to go to therapy for the rest of my life. So the prequel is about 10 years before Mateo and Rufus. Their names are so hard. The two main characters we follow in this book are Orion and Valentino. And mind you, first I started reading this book and I was like, is that Orion? Is that a name? And then I started listening to the audiobook and it was like Orion, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense, definitely. So this book starts when Deathcast is just debuting, I guess you could call it. It's kind of a new thing, and both of these new characters are going to the Times Square to watch the kind of live stream where Deathcast is going to like debut itself into the world and be like, we're gonna tell you when you're going to die. So let me give you a little bit of story from the characters. So Valentino Prince is a guy from Arizona who's a twin to his sister Scarlett, and they are moving into New York for Valentino to be a model and for Scarlett to be a photographer or photographer. I don't know how you say it, but she takes photos. But since Scarlett had this event to go to, they are flying separately. So first Valentino comes to New York, and then I think a few hours later, Scarlett is supposed to come. And what happens? What happens? You guessed it, yeah. They meet, okay? Orion is in the Times Square with his best friend, who is also his sister by law because his parents are dead in 9/11. So Orion is an orphan who is now living with his mother's childhood best friend and their family. And he's having a good life, kind of somehow, but he has a very bad heart condition. As he puts it, he could drop dead any second. Like, any second. Any kind of, like, big emotions or excitement is bad for him because his heart is gonna be like, bye. Orion's opinion on Deathcast is that it's a good thing because I won't have to live with the fear that every day I might die. If I'm going to die, they're just going to call me, and if they don't call me, I'll at least know that I'll live that day. Valentino, on the other hand, is a very healthy kind of dude who runs a lot, doesn't have any conditions, and he's here for a fresh start in New York, and he's really excited for his sister to come into town, and they're going to just have the best time of their lives. But also, his parents are very religious, and when he came out to them as gay, they were like, fuck you, get the fuck out of our house. And that's the situation. But of course, Orion's both family and guardians are totally okay with this fact that he's gay. So we finally get to see them meet, and from the very first moment, Orion's like, that dude is hot as fuck. And of course, he's a model, so definitely he's hot. And then on the other hand, Valentino is like, he's so cute, like, blah, blah, blah. Orion kind of makes the first move and goes talk to him. And Valentino's like, dude, I gotta let him know that I'm gay. I swear to God. Like, in his head, he was like, I have to tell him that I'm gay. Like, he has to know that. And then he's like, by the way, I'm gay if you didn't notice. Like, I'm gay, okay? I'm gay. And Orion's like, cool, me too. Like, everything's going great. But then, guess who receives a call? Valentino, the model, the very healthy guy, receives a call. And they're like, by the way, you're the very first Decker. And what's a Decker? Well, according to the founder of the Deathcast, Deckers are people who are going to die. And why are they called Deckers? Because the founder kind of wants to think of these people who are dying as people who are on their ships of the... Okay. Imagine your life is a ship, okay? And you're on the deck of that ship, okay? And then when you receive the call, you get to take control of that ship and live your life as you want it. So they're called Deckers. Don't ask me for the logic, okay? By the way, at some point, Orion walks up to his best friend Dama and is like, by the way, this is his end day and I kind of want to be alone with him. So can you get out of the page, please? Because I don't know what to do with you as the author, so please get the fuck out. So I can put these two main characters together, please. Thank you. And so they do that. Dalma is gone, and Orion and Valentino get to spend the last day of Valentino's life together. This is very similar to the theme of the first book, where the whole premise of it is that these two people are dying, but they also really like each other, and they're spending their last day together, and they try to live it as fully as possible. But something I noticed is that in the first book, the two characters definitely just fall in love. They're head over heels for each other. And I think that's because both of them are dying, and both of them are like, this is the last fucking shot. This should be love for us. But these two, because only one of them has received a call, they're taking it slow and kind of just like each other, okay? They don't call themselves boyfriends, because no labels or anything. So that same day, something very bad happens. There's a shooting in the whole Times Square square. And guess what? Someone tries to shoot Valentino, but then Orion kind of saves his life. And Valentino's like, dude, even though you knew I was gonna die, you saved my life. Oh my god. And he's just touched very emotionally. But right after tackling Valentino out of the gunshot kind of route, Orion gets a heart attack, and a really bad one. And they go to the hospital and everything, and he's fine, he's recovering, but he's still like in a very, very bad condition. And Valentino sees him, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna die today, right? So I'll give you my heart. But the doctor is like, I have to talk to the board because this is the first time that someone is alive, and they're gonna be like, I'm going to go to the surgery and give my heart to someone else. This is the first time because of the death cast thing, right? So they're like, we have to kind of talk to the board members and call you back. While they're waiting on that call, they go and spend their end day together. Now, something I have to mention here is that, do you remember Rufus and Matteo? Do you remember me telling you that they kind of also died at the end? And they were 17, and this is kind of 10 years back. So at this point, they're children, right? Yeah, they appear in this book, and we get their perspectives, okay? We get their perspectives. We even get their parents' perspectives. Like, we get to know them as they were children while knowing that they're going to fucking die when they were 17. And the whole time, the author is talking about how they're filled with life and how they want to grow up and live a happy life. And the whole time, we know what's going to happen to them. And also, we know what happens to their families, okay? Both of their families are fucked. But in this book, they're like very loving. They're very alive. I don't know, it's just pain, okay? It's just pain. They spend their time together while waiting for Scarlett to finally get a flight and come to them, because at this point Scarlett knows that Valentino is definitely going to die, and they want to obviously see each other before that. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, remember the knife and the twisting? Yeah. Scarlett never makes it back to Valentino. Why? Because her flights keep getting canceled because of Deathcast. Because one time, the freaking pilot is a Decker. And they're like, oops, we can't make him fly this fucking plane anymore. And even though none of the passengers have received a call, that doesn't mean they're not going to die. Because they have this kind of timeline from midnight to... No. So it's somewhere between midnight and 2 p.m. So even if you haven't received a call at like 2 p.m. to like 5 p.m., you're still not sure you're not gonna die because there's still time for them to call you. They cancel the flight, and she's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna book another one. And then you know what happens next? Deathcast finds out that there have been people who died without getting a call. They have to register for this Deathcast thing, and they find out that they were people who were registered but never got a call and still died. And we get this very weird scene where the founder just goes into a vault, and we're only told that everything he knows about how people die and everything comes from that vault. And that's it. When he comes out of the vault, he's like, so this glitch is going to be fixed after 12 people die without getting a call. So far, 11 have died. Got myself some tea. Guess what that means? That means there's still one more person who's going to die without getting a call. and there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to gonna wait for the 12th person to die, and then the glitch will be fixed. And Orion, in his own perspective, he's like, what if it's me? What if it's me? What if it's me? Because of the last book, because of the two of them dying together, we kind of get the feeling that it's going to be him. I'm not going to tell you. So they have a wonderful end day together, and they start falling in love. They also have sex. Now, let me tell you a story, kids. Outside of Orion and Valentino's storyline, there's another subplot, which is Frankie's fucked up life. So Frankie is Valentino's landlord, right? And he's such a shitty person. He has a wife and a kid, and he beats his wife to the point where his wife, who's called Gloria, is very much scared for her life. And Gloria has a best friend called Rolando, who has always been in love with her, and he still is. And Gloria is also secretly in love with him, but has never said anything because she's like, I have a kid, and I have to stay with the kid's father for some reason. But since Rolando was working in the death gas for a very short time, and he had to tell people that they're going to die today, he kind of has this awakening of, you have to start living your life before it's too late and blah blah blah. So one day he goes up to Gloria and he's like, leave your fucking husband and marry me. And they go home to this fucking maniac who is so violent that someday he's going to be able to fucking kill you by beating your ass. They go there and be like, I want to leave you. I want a divorce. Did you expect him to just be like, oh, fuck yeah, okay, well, go have your life? Did you really expect that? Oh my god, I'm so pissed at this part of the story because it just, So anyway, Frankie is just like, okay, fine, if you want to live off with him, go the fuck away out of my fucking house, but you're not taking my kid. And Gloria's like, fuck yeah, I am. She apparently just grows a pair of balls right in that moment. And Frank is like, what the fuck did you say? Now, I am going to tell you that it's not very graphic or anything. It just says that it's happening, and it doesn't go into detail or anything. But it was still a little bit disturbing for me to read. So if you're someone who is triggered by that kind of content, probably just be aware of that and maybe skip that chapter. It gets so bad, and I don't know what the fuck Rolando is doing at that moment. Probably he's been up too, but I mean, fuck him. He's just a block of meat who kind of ruined Gloria's life. I was like, leave with me, while knowing that Frankie is a fucking maniac, and stood there and did nothing. So Valentino and Orion are coming home. Why would they? Like, at this very moment, why the fuck would they do that? So the kid sees Valentino and he's like, please help us. And Valentino's like, okay. I was not prepared for this moment, because I was just like, this is not how it happens. It's so stupid. But he gets very badly beaten up by Frankie, and then he's kicked down the stairs. After that, they take him to the hospital, but obviously it's too late. And since all the beating was to his head, his brain dies, and they harvest his heart and give it to Orion. I cannot tell you how much I cried. Okay? I cannot tell you how much I cried, because you get to spend around like 350 pages something with a character. Be in his head. Okay? And he's a kid. He's full of just questions and full of life and full of goals and ambitious everything. And then he dies like that. And then you get Orion, who is looking at him and being like, I saw my beautiful boyfriend's face covered in blood. I think that was the moment I lost it. I don't know. This is the moment where we find out that the 12th person who is going to die without a call is not Orion, but it's Frankie, because the kid is very terrified. So he goes up to the closet, grabs his father's gun, and shoots him with it. So Frankie's dead. He was the 12th person. Orion's okay. But of course, you know who's not okay? Valentino and me. Guess what? Scarlett never made it back. And so they end up calling her and being like, I'm so sorry, but it happened. And, you know, the chapter that was Scarlett's POV after she knew, I cried, my friends. I cried. And of course, Adam Silvera had to do it. Then we find out that Valentino has recorded a video for Orion to watch after he's dead. Of course. And yes, I cried some more and then some. The surgery is going perfectly. It's completely fine. And Orion's okay. And we finally get to see him be happy that he can live a longer life, because he's a writer, and from the very first chapters he was like, I know I'm never gonna be a novel, I'm just a short story, because of his heart condition, but at the very end he's like, I'm finally a novel. I'm so ruined, guys. So I'm going to explain to you why it hit me so hard compared to the first book. It had, like, this book had kind of different elements that weren't really present in the first book, and that is only one of them died. Only one of them died, and the other had to, like, live with the other's heart literally in his chest. And it was, of course, the sibling element. Because throughout the whole book, we get to see Scarlett and Valentino be so intimate and such best friends. And then they never even see each other before Valentino dies. And I, having a very strong connection with my own sister, I felt that and I was fucking sobbing. So, yeah. Here's the book. If you made it this far, congratulations, because it's so fucking long. But I really had to get it out of my system. I hope you, I don't know, gain something from this video. Please subscribe if you want to stay here and hang out more. I post about every gay thing I find, and we'll get to experience it together. So I will see you in another video very soon.